Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Start another day. Apologies for the slight delay. We had didn't have a charger and the computer wasn't working properly. Today's learning is dedicated in memory of Leah Bas Feivel, Tzivia Bas Mordechai, Avram ben David Slavin, Shlomo ben Yisrael Morris, Eliezer ben Shmuel Teret, Eliezer Shalom ben Avram Shmuel Beret, Tzipora Feigele Bas Reuven Baruch, Shalom ben Elieli, Beina Bas Feivel, from Rosh Hashanah Bas Yaakov Shmuel, and for the Yortzites of today, Rachman ben Moshiach ben Ami, Dov Ber ben Shmuel, Malka Bas Chaim Pereira, Meir Wolf ben Chaim Leslie, Moshe ben Abram Erdman, Meir Wolf ben Yosef, Batya Bas Moshe, Aaron ben Mordechai Avigdor. We wish each and every one of their respective families long life and any simchas. So how are we doing? I thought it was exceptional last night, very meaningful and thought-provoking, the mental health and well-being seminar that we ran, part 1. Part 2 is back next Wednesday. You have to sign up for it, limited spaces. So we are in chapter 2. Yesterday we spoke about the fine balance between Torah im derech eretz, between learning Torah and earning a livelihood. Today we are going to discuss about the authorities. Heve zehirim barashus she'em makabin le'adam ela letzorech atzmo. Now, I want to preface what I'm about to say by stating that we have to bear in mind when these statements came about. So we know they were just prior to the destruction of the temple, the second temple, and they were immediately afterwards. Okay, so the authorities of the day were the Romans, and they made many edicts and decrees that were against the Jews and were very harsh. So bear that in mind when we learn this together. So we should be careful with the authorities, and we shouldn't, the Ethics of the Father says, we shouldn't become over familiar with them, too close to them, too reliant on them, because nirin ko ahavim b'shas hanoson. When we are benefiting them, they appear as friends, right? When they are providing for us, when they are doing what we want them to, then they appear as friends. And they do not stand by the person when he has a real pressing need. As I said, this was written a long time ago, time of the Second Temple's destruction, and Rambam, Maimonides, and others in their commentaries are keen to point out that at their time, it wasn't necessarily applicable, although having said that, the Rambam himself, Maimonides, had to flee because of persecution. So I don't know whether he was saying that as a defense mechanism, so that because of the authorities, in case they read Ethics of the Fathers or not. But certainly, there is a lot of truth in this if we think about Jewish history. How often have we been over-reliant and pinned our hopes and put our faith in the authorities or in the country or in those around us, and then the rug has been pulled from under our feet? I know from my own family's experience in Frankfurt, in Germany before the war, they spoke 8 languages, were exceptionally cultured and integrated as part of society, and were seen as, some of the most influential and respected members of society. That's the way the Jewish community in Frankfurt and Berlin, and then the communities in Vienna and other places across Europe. And all of a sudden, very quickly, the things changed. And despite those close friendships, as the Mishna just said, they changed their course, and we were left undone. That doesn't mean everyone, but but clearly, especially at that particular time, being over-reliant and thinking that we don't need anything else, we don't need our Jewish community, we don't need God, we've got a friend in high places. That is certainly the wrong approach to take. The second mission I want to learn with you today, because we have time, is Hu haya omer, aseh retzono kiretzonecha. One should make his will, referring to God, kiretzonecha, like your will. Kedei sheyaseh retzonecha kiretzono. Why should you do that? So that your will become his will. You make his will your will, and then your will becomes his will. Nullify your will, your desires, your want for his want, his will, in order that others should be prepared to be annul their will for your will. So, simply speaking, at least the latter part of the Mishnah seems to suggest, well, relationships are always a two-way street. That's not necessarily what we always behave and think like, but that's the truth. It's a two-way street, and therefore what you put in, you get out. If I give, I'll get. That's the way, that's the latter part of the Mishnah, what it seems to suggest. But let's focus first on the first part of the Mishnah. First part of the Mishnah says that we should make, each of us should make our will his will. We mentioned previously that the idea of being in this world is that we are like avodim. We are meant to be loyal servants to serve and to propagate the will of the Almighty, right? So therefore, in the same way that a loyal subject or servant doesn't have in his personal needs, they don't come into it, he just wants to do what his master says. So it is that in this world, we are meant to do what he wants from us. He's put us here to serve him, to be loyal to him, right? It's theocentric rather than homocentric, right? Take yourself out of everything, okay? So often in life, we come unstuck, we become frustrated, we become angry. And if we actually take a step back and think about life, why are we becoming frustrated? Why are we becoming angry? You know why? Because we're not getting our will. We're not getting what we want, right? Is that what life's about? So when we become slightly different in our approach, in our attitude, right, we recognize that the highest context factor, the highest and most important thing in life is not getting what we want. Babies cry until they get exactly what they want, until they get their will. So that's that point. And then the second point is, as we already said, that as a result of making your will his will, your will is going to be mavata, nullified for his will. And eventually, when people see, and I think this is the point of the Mishnah, when people see that you are acting what we refer to as l'shem shamayim, for the sake of heaven, it's not about you. So that when you are leading, or when you're in the public light, or when you make statements, right? It's not because you want fame and fortune, but you're trying to do that people know you're a klau mensch. Klau mensch means that you're somebody that is there for the community, somebody that is there for the greater good. So then they want to follow you because they know you've got the best interests of the community at heart. And I think if you look back over the course of Jewish history at some of our greatest leaders, we notice that people did, in particular after the war, people clamored around people like the Klausenberger Rebbe, the sons of Rebbe who built Laniado Hospital. How did he manage to achieve such incredible accomplishment in the aftermath of the Holocaust? And the answer is because they saw his will was God's will, and he had nullified his will for God's will, and therefore they were prepared to nullify their wants for his wants, and therefore they were able to help him build the great Laniado Hospital. There's much more to say on this, but we're going to stop there for today. So we continue now with with Psalm 23. We'll say it together to pray for all those that need refuah shlema, and that there should be peace and tolerance and respect in the world at large. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He causes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even when I walk in the valley of darkness, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You set a table before me in the presence of my adversaries. You anointed my head with oil, my cup overflows. May only goodness and kindness pursue me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord for the length of days. Continue with a memorial prayer, wishing each and every one of the Yortzites, respective Yortzites, long life and only simchas, and all those that are saying Kaddish as well. Es nishmois Leah bas Bible, Sylvia bas Mordechai, Abram ben David Slavin, Shlomo ben Yisrael Morris, Eliezer ben Shmuel Teret, Eliezer Shalom ben Abram Shmuel Beres, Tzipora Pegler bas Reuben Baruch, Shalom ben Elia Lee, Bena bas Bible, from Rosh Hashanah bas Yaakov Shmuel, Rachamim ben Moshiach ben Ami, Dolbe ben Shmuel, Malka bas Chaim Pereira, Meir Wolf ben Chaim Leslie, Moshe ben Avram Erman, Meir Wolf ben Yosef, Basia ben Bas Moshe, Aaron ben Mordechai Avigdor, Shalachul Yolamam, Vegan Aiden Teimanu Chasam, Lachem Balarachamim, Yasirein Vesesa Kanafov Yolamim, Vitzovas Achaim Isishmasam, Adonai Yonach Lasam, Yanuchu B'Shalom Shkavam, Venamar Amen. We conclude with the Refuah Shlema prayer. For all those that are unwell, we'll leave a pause for those to insert their names. Mi sheberach Avosenu Avram Yisrael Yaakov Moshe Aaron David Shlomo Yivarak Rab Esachelim Vavo Shalom Ispalim Vavo Ram B'Sosei HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimali Rachim Aleichem Lachim Alafosam Yishlachnem Fushim V'Nishmaim L'Chol Ve'B'So Shachar Yisrael Refuas HaNefesh Fus HaGuf Hashabag L'Zman Karev V'Nomar Amen. Have a great day, everyone. We hope everyone stays safe, keep well, and look forward, please God, to seeing you later in the week. I think we're having tonight a cooking demo, Chaos in the Kitchen, and then tomorrow morning is the final session of Mishna, second chapter again, and then we look forward to Shabbat and so much more next week. Take care, have a great day.